Hello. So I saw uh Graham Hancock's um show on Netflix, and um it's it's pretty good. It's pretty standard Graham Hancock fare. It's like, let's see. Yeah, I mean as he's been for recent years, he's focused on the Younger Dryas uh, cataclysm idea, and Younger Dryas impact event, and the idea that ancient sites are meant to warn us about that, or some future impending event like that. um so it was pretty good. I learned a couple things from it. Just like some details about different ancient sites and whatever. But um it does. I think a lot of ancient, well, just a lot of historians generally, but especially kind of independent ones, often you know put their racial bias into their work, and like, um anyway, like, he basically promotes the idea that Quetzalcoatl was, um the one of the main gods of the Aztecs, was uh basically a white guy that came from Europe, or came from across the sea, came from the east. And so potentially Europe, or probably he's thinking Europe, and basically civilized the Aztecs. And so it's he's basing it on, I'm not sure what. Like, this show uses a lot of like reconstruction, like cartoon kind of art, just recreations. So there's all these recreations of these, this hypothetical white Quetzalcoatl. But like, and there, this claim that Quetzalcoatl was that basically that whole claim is not, it's an old claim. It's not invented by Hancock, but it doesn't seem very well grounded. Like, it's like some missionary claimed like somebody told him that, or yada yada. But there's not much basis for it, because if you look at just all the Aztecs paintings of Quetzalcoatl, he's usually shown, uh I mean, he's really shown every different color, but sometimes he's shown black, sometimes, often shown like where his face is a mix of red and red and black and something. I don't, it's like, because basically, um from what I gather, like, Quetzalcoatl is Venus. The So, like, why would Venus, why would Venus have an ethnicity or whatever? Anyway, so that's like, and why would Venus like have to sail across an ocean? I mean, Venus comes across from the east, yes, um, and goes to the west or whatever. And it may be that Quetzalcoatl represents Venus rising, like basically Lucifer, um, Isis, Phosphorus. But yeah. So anyway, I thought that was cringe. And yeah, just a lot of the reconstructions were a bit cringe in terms of like racial, whitewashing, whatever. Um, but you know, overall, like I think it's good to have like at least, if they can't get me on on there, which I don't even know if I would want to be on there, but um if they can't, I mean, like, if they can't get Andrew Collins or, I mean, Hancock's pretty good. Like, it's something, it's definitely an alternative. Uh, you know, he opens up a lot of the important questions. So, you know, it's like I watched it all. It was, interesting. I learned a few things. And yeah, I don't know. Again, like I think it would be better if a lot of historians or whatever he calls himself, like a journalist, historical journalist or something, if they would be like more careful about their and conscious of their like racial biases and uh or just use some, I don't know, common sense. Like at least if you're gonna give like one totally anecdotal, like not really accepted view of like who Quetzalcoatl was or is or whatever, then you should also explain other ideas of who or what Quetzalcoatl, was or is. And that certainly would include, it's well known by a lot of people that Quetzalcoatl is Venus. So he could have included that. And that would have, but it wouldn't have helped his like premise. I mean, I understand like I basically had um his somewhat of his outlook in terms of the idea of that the gods were just like culture bringers, like people who were like powerful and smart and established like civilization. And I think that might be true to some extent that, those people were considered gods in a different way, like a human type of god, but there were human gods only in the sense that through their greatness or through their intelligence and power and whatever that they came to come to resemble the powers and the majesty of the like of the gods, the like the sun and the moon and the earth and the ocean and the immortals. um like if you do something in your life that takes on that lives on and becomes immortal, then that that be like a kind of godly thing. um so like the priests and the some of the royalty that were involved in preserving civilization for posterity, in that sense they became part of eternity. They became somewhat immortal. And there's, a number of ways in why they would refer to themselves as gods. I think also the fact that the people, the kind of intellectual elites that were considered to be gods were the people that were also like selling around the world. And so the ability to sail around the world was may have been I mean it's very central to the concept of a god, because the sun and the moon and the stars, whatever, they in a certain sense, like in the ancient cosmology, in a lot of versions, it's like those are the gods, those are the only entities that are capable of that voyage of going around down to the underworld and then coming all the way back again, because everybody else in that type of cosmology is incapable of, uh, passing the great ocean and everything until they die, and then their soul goes to the underworld, to the Antipodes, and they are reincarnated there or something. Um, so anyway, but I just, if you're into the kind of thing, if you like Graham Hancock, you'll like it. And that's pretty much, it's pretty well done. Um, and, you know, I just I hope more and more people ask a lot of these same questions. And I mean, one of his main premises is just that there was advanced civilization during the Ice Age. And I 100% agree with that. I mean, that's already been proven, as he said, like with Göbekli Tepe. So, um, yeah, I mean, if there's people who don't really understand that, then it's 100% worth watching just for that alone. All right, so yeah, there we go. There's my review, and have a good one.